See, prior to this .NET, a Windows application, I was using VB. And if I want to develop a web application, I was using ASP. So if I want to develop different applications, I need to learn different technology. Here, for any kind of application, what is that I need to do? I need to learn a single technology. So this is why we are going for .NET. So this is one of the many reasons. Now let us see a major reason. Now, for example, there is a programmer. For example, you have been working on C for past, say, 10 years. And you have been all of a sudden asked to shift to a new programming language, C++. Now, if you want to learn a programming language, what are the things that you need to know about? There are two major things whenever you want to learn a programming language. Those things are, first is your syntax. Now, syntax is not a big deal. To learn a syntax, it may take 1 or 2 or 3 days for you. Syntax is something that you need to put a semicolon, you need to put a comma, you need to put square brackets, rectangular brackets, all these things, open braces, close braces, all these things come under syntax. To learn a syntax, it is not a big deal. In 2 days or 3 days, you might expertise the syntax. But the major thing which is very important that we need to learn is class library. Now, for example, in C, if I want to print something, I may use printf. Now, learning class library, remembering class library is a big deal. Now, if I go towards C++, again I need to learn syntax of C++ and the class library. In C++, if I want to print something, I may use cout. I may use cout. So, now you can see that a person who has been using printf to print something for past many years, all of a sudden if you ask him to use cout, it would be difficult for him to remember all these things. Now, if we come towards .NET supports more than 42 languages. Now, in .NET, if, for example, you have been working on C# and you have been asked to shift towards VB.NET. Now, in .NET, if you master a single language, means that you have mastered 42 languages, because all the languages, they uses a common class library called as frame class library. C# follow its own syntax. C# follow its own syntax, whereas VB follow its own syntax. But class libraries are same in both the languages. If you want to print something, you need to call a class library function called as console.writeLine. Anything C#, VB.NET, J#, C++, many languages. From C# to VB.NET, it would take 2 days for me. What is that I need to do? I need to learn only the syntax. Whereas your class library remains same. In C#, if you want to print something, we might be using console.writeLine, and in VB.NET, if you want to print something, we might be using console.writeLine. The same thing we are using in any programming language. Now, we have seen two things till now. First is what can I do with this .NET, and the second thing is why .NET. So we have seen what can I do with .NET, and the second thing is why only .NET. Now, first we have seen what is that I can do with .NET, so I can develop any kind of application. Why .NET? Because .NET support multiple languages with a common class library called as, so this is very important, your frame class library. So, can I make a statement that It is a language neutral. Why? Because any language using the same class library. So I can say it is language neutral. Now, if I mix these two, I can define a .NET is a language neutral platform. Why do I say it as language neutral? Because because of frame class library. Any language there, it is using the same class library. So it is a language neutral platform. So I can say .NET is a language neutral platform on which I can develop any kind of application, right from Windows application, web application, console application, and many more